You are the master behind your own mind. What you put out is what you get. At one point, I thought that thoughts just kind of happen. I did not think or feel like I was in control of my own thoughts. I just thought they just kind of, voila, happened. But in fact, we are in control of our own mind and our own thoughts and how they happen. Hello, my honey bunches. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you've already been a part of the family, welcome back, babe. Let's go ahead and get into it. I am so excited for this TED Talk today because it's been on my mind for the last few days. So I was telling my boyfriend, like, I've got to get this upload up. Like, it's going to eat me alive. And so here we are. As you see by the title, 10 mind shifts that I had to make for myself that completely changed my life. And I feel like if I benefited from it, I know there's going to be someone else in this world that will benefit from them as well. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and like this video. Just drop a thumbs up, please. I appreciate it so much. Subscribe, of course. Turn on those post notifications. Let's just go. I'm so excited. Hey, y'all. So for me, I feel like these mind shifts were major because at one point I was a person who had like negative thoughts. And I was at one point a person who thought that my thoughts were just my thoughts and I had no control over them. And in all reality, that's not the truth. But if you always thinking something negative or you put negative things out, out in the universe, or you're always listening to someone's negative think thoughts about you or how they feel, but what do you think is going to happen? So for me, that kind of jump start with the first mindset change, the shift that you are the mastermind behind your mind. Whatever you think or put into the world is what you're going to get. And like I said before, I always at one point thought that my thoughts just kind of happen just because, but they kind of go based off of what you're thinking and what you're doing. If you always are thinking something negative, like for me, for instance, for myself, things can be going great, things can be going amazing, and I'm gonna still think, as things are going great right now, but what if XYZ? No, or you're constantly thinking about what someone else says about you. Um, no. Start thinking about those positive things that are happening. Start putting that into the universe. Start, once you realize that you are the master of your own mind and that you can control those positive thoughts to be what you think, your whole life will start to go in that positive direction because you're no longer focusing on the negativity or what could happen or the bad stuff. Now you're channeling your thoughts, your mind, and eventually yourself into something positive. So you're going to want to do positive things. You're going to want to push yourself forward because at the end of the day, you're in control of you and your mind. And everything starts with a thought. Any kind of big business, any kind of big thing, any whatever it is, everything starts with a thought. So if you're constantly having negative thoughts or thinking negatively about yourself, what does that speak for? What does that speak for? Like, what volume does that speak? So for me, having that positivity pouring into myself, that was a major thing. Number two, stop playing the victim. Now, before y'all eat me up in these comments, yes, sometimes you really may be the victim, which is okay. But after a while, you have to stop playing and being in that role. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck because you end up going from being the victim most of the time to making someone else the victim. Like if you're in a toxic relationship or have toxic friends or family, you tend to only know that. Like for me, I was in a very toxic relationship previously, and he was always lying, cheating, doing this and doing everything wrong. So I was always on top of my lungs. I was always screaming. We were always arguing. It was always just a big mess. So I didn't have like a common medium. It was either 0 to 100 real quick. So the guy I'm dating now, he will tell you now the way I used to be back then to where I am now are so different. because I've learned that I was in control of stopping to allow myself be that victim, because if you stay being the victim forever, nothing's going to change. You're going to always have the same outlook, and at one point it was like for him, he could do the smallest thing, nothing nowhere near remote of what my ex was doing. And since I only knew how to go from 0 to 100, the slightest thing I was going off, and it's just kind of like I was making him pay and making him go through this when it's not his fault. I still had the trauma and the past situations from my ex, not knowing how to deal with that. And so now I feel like he would tell you that I'm such an easygoing girlfriend, I think. But you turn around and you're thinking, and you're just like, oh, you know what I've been through, or you know that I've told you this, what happened to me. Okay, yeah, that's true. But it's time to stop playing the blame game because guess what? They didn't do that to you. They did. So, and if you're a person who you at this point in time can't stop thinking that way and you can't stop playing that victim role, maybe dating is not something you should be doing right now. Maybe that's not the focal point. Maybe you should focus on healing and forgiving yourself, really, for allowing yourself to go through all of that. So stop playing the victim. Get up and do something about it. And that goes into number 3. You are not a statue. You are not a tree. You can get up and move. And that does not mean necessarily physically. It can be physically, it can be mentally. If you do not like where you are in life, change it. And typically, most of the time, most change happens in our life when we don't like how things are going, when things are so bad. And you have a thought process and you're just like, something's got to change. Because in our reality, when things are going good and we're happy, we are content and we tend to not make those changes, even though there could be some further changes to further that happiness. But if you notice, most people make the biggest changes of their lives, have the biggest adjustments when they're in rough spots. Because that's when those wheels start turning. That's when that mind starts getting to like, okay, what's the plan? What's going on? If you don't like how somebody's treating you, leave. If you don't like where you're at in life, what's the next step? It goes back to everything starts with the thought. What are we gonna do to move that? You're not a statue. You're not stuck. You don't have to be in this position forever. Just because you're in a situation at this point in your life right now, that does not mean you're gonna be in that position forever. But you have to be willing to put that work in and that effort in to change that situation. You're not a statue, boo. Get up, and move on. Simple as that. You do not have to deal with and tolerate anything you don't want to. It may not be easy. No one said it's going to be easy. It's definitely easier said than done, but it's definitely possible. And that brings us to our next mind shift. It can either be one day or day one. This one was major for me, especially with my YouTube channel, with everything, but I feel like a lot of the times we are our biggest downfalls and our biggest enemies because we procrastinate too much. Always saying to ourselves or people, oh, one day I'm gonna do this, one day I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna start this business, I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah. The next thing you know, a year goes by, 2 years goes by, or months or weeks or whatever goes by, and you still have not started. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts as a beginner, whether it's fear of failing or whether it's you looking at someone else doing it and you're like, oh, so people do it already. So you can either go from being that person that says one day or day one. I'd rather be on the spectrum of day one because guess what? I'm starting, I'm doing it, I'm a beginner. But guess what? I'm working towards that goal. So don't be that person who procrastinates and potentially sabotages yourself because you're not starting. You have to get a little bit uncomfortable typically to have success. Usually when you're in your comfort zone and you're okay, that's because you're not allowing yourself to grow. And that's really what life is about, growth. And that's really what all these mind shifts have helped me do, have the necessary growth I needed to become the person that I want to be. Because sometimes we are our own downfalls. So don't be the person who goes one day, one day, one day. Now it's day one. We're starting. So whatever thought you have in the back of your mind, whatever you want to do, whatever you have planned, make it a point. Today is the day that you get started. And that's coming from me. Infinity Anye said today is the day. Okay? That leads us to our next mind shift. It kind of goes perfectly hand in hand. If you don't have it yet, you are not yet the version of yourself who's meant to have it. And I feel like this is huge for me because I feel like as humans, we always see and envision what we think we deserve, what we want our lives to be from the beginning of time. And you may think, oh my goodness, life is so hard. Why can't I just do this? You see all these people who are living their lives and they seem happy. And I like keyword seem because you never know what's really going on. But you may see people your age went to school with and they seem to have they have it all. They have the white picket fence, the marriage, or they have the dream job or the career or the children. They just have what it seems like to be all together and you feel like you're just stuck and you're just like, why is nothing going right for me? That's because most of the time we're not ready for whatever it is we're desiring. Because say you want to start a business and it's just not going right, something is preventing that from happening. So you have to either heal or figure it out, get a plan out. There's something that's just preventing you from being able to grab onto that because you're not ready. Because the worst thing ever is to grab onto something or to receive something or get a business or start it and it thrives or be able to put yourself in a position, but then backtrack because you can't keep it. You're not the version of yourself that you should be to be able to possess and hold on to it. That's the worst thing ever. And I feel like we've all been through it where we've had some downfalls and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I let this happen. So for me, I had to learn to be patient. Patience is a virtue. And I promise you, once you are that version of yourself, you figure out these issues, you figure out whatever it is that's holding you back from you being and receiving what it is you truly deserve, you're going to start seeing these doors opening up. I am a living witness. Not even a year ago, when I tell you I was at my lowest of my lowest, and I felt like I thought I was trying, keyword thought, I was trying my hardest to pull myself out. I thought I was doing my best to get myself back where I needed to be. But I was not in the position mentally, emotionally, or physically to be able to possess the things I needed and desired for myself, for my children, for my life, for my health, for everything, and keep it. I was not that version that I am today. The things I have today, that I possess today, I was ready for them. I was in the position to possess them and hold on to them properly. So just don't think that just because you don't have something now that you desire, that you will not have it later. It's about growth. I promise you, once you are in that position and you are ready, the things that you desire will come. Just be patient. This goes into our next mind shift. Feelings are healing. Let me say that again. Feeling is healing. Simple but major. A lot of the times we tend to run away from our feelings because that's just better for us. We don't feel it, we don't have the emotion from it, we don't have the reaction behind it. So we'll bury ourselves in our kids, we'll bury ourselves in our work, or people turn to other things like whether it's working out or drugs or anything. We'll put anything in front of those feelings to mask them, to not deal with them. And for a while, yes, that may work, but eventually it blows up in your face. And typically it blows up in your face at the wrong time. Those feelings and those emotions have to come out at some point. And it may be in crying, it may be in anger, it may be in lashing out. It can be in a multitude of different ways it come out. But I promise you, it's not going to be pretty because it's a boiling over process. You have to understand these feelings to know why you felt this way. typically when you're feeling these things, you're going through your mind on what led up to these events or what happened and this, that, and third. How can I not go through this again? You have to look at yourself in a mirror because a lot of the times when we go through traumatic things, sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of the times, especially when it comes to like relationships or friendships or certain things, we kind of participated in allowing things to prolong. Like, say you're in a relationship and it's toxic, it's negative, you're unhappy, but you still choose to stay because of the comfort level you have, and you're afraid to be alone. Now you're prolonging that those negative feelings. You're prolonging that hurt. So until you can figure out what it is you're feeling and work through that, whether it's be therapy or writing it down, talking video sessions with someone, or just being a video like this and not even putting it out there, but just that being your therapeutic way, you have to get through those before you can try to start to build relationships, before you can try to start to partake in live your life the proper way, because you're not allowing yourself to heal when you mask those issues. You're not giving yourself that time. You know, like some people like to jump out of a relationship and jump right back into some, and we've all done it. We've all done it. But when you find yourself trying to use something or someone else to hide that hurt or mask that hurt, usually it's not genuine. You know, it doesn't work. It might for a while, but it typically backfires. So remember, feeling, even though it may be hard, it may make you feel like, oh my goodness, like I feel like this. You may cry every day. You may scream and holler every day. You may have days where you feel like I can't get out of bed, but you're working through your feelings. You're healing yourself. You're learning yourself, relearning yourself. You're allowing yourself to know your worth, what you need to do, what's the next step. And eventually you will pull yourself out of that. So feeling is healing. Heal yourself, girl. Just bask in the ambience. Bask in the ambience. Takes me into my next one. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And this can be in a negative sense or positive sense. Even all the bad things, the trauma, the negative things that happen to you, they create growth. They build you into who you are. Because typically, if you're a person who's going through trauma, a lot of bad things, that drives you to pull yourself from that and let you know what? That was a lesson learned. You date someone or had a friend and they thought they were just the best friend or whoever, and they show you they a snake. Thank you for showing me that. That was a lesson. It happened to me, so I know what to look out for. I know not to allow it to happen again. You know, it's easy to think that, dang, this is happening, this is happening. Like, why is everything happening to me? Me personally, I look at it as, and this is just my perspective, God does not give me more than I can bear. If something was a task was given to me, it's meant for me, whether it be a good one or a bad one, whether I feel like I'm holding all the weight of the world. You know, I just feel like we go through things in life. And sometimes some people are given harder lives than others. Some people are dished more than others, you know, and we have to learn how to work through that in our own way, on our own time. So just remember, like, and just remember too, you're not alone. Everybody goes through things. So it's easy to think, oh my God, my life is this. We all have gone through these things in our life that we're just like, why me? What is happening? Like I'm trying. But just remember, all that negative stuff, it built you who you are today. It helped mold you. Just as well as the positive and the good things, because it creates just this person. You know, it helps you grow. It helps you learn. I'm a person that always say I know a little about a lot, and I'm still to this day learning about myself. And I was that person at one point who always thought, why me? Like, why is happening to me? You know, and it kind of goes back to those negative thoughts. Transitioning my mind shift the way that it is now to have this positivity poured into myself, it's been amazing. So stop thinking all the time like, oh my gosh, why me? Like, why not you? Just think of it like this. I'm getting all these tasks. That's because I'm a strong person. Like, I'm built tough. I'm built for it tough. I'm built for this. Life cannot knock me down. Life cannot, make me break. Why not you? Okay, yeah, things are hard. Get up, dust it off. You can fold, you can bend, but guess what? We're not breaking. Not now, not never. The past is the past, but guess what? We're here now. So why not you? You're amazing. You're awesome. You can get through this. I got this. We got this. Like it's just that simple. We got this. This thing called life, we about to master it, baby. Simple. And the final mind shift that was major for me, and people might think, oh, wow. But everyone benefits from me putting myself first. And this is a tricky one because for a long time, I thought it was selfish to put myself first, to put my needs first. Because when you become a parent, everyone's thought process typically is the kids come first. Your life ends. It's no longer about you, it's about them, which to an extent is true. You should always want to put your kids, you know, a big, important part of your life and as a big priority in your life. But you're important too. So if you're not full, you can't pour into them. If I'm not full, I can't pour into my dreams. I can't pour into my children. I can't pour into my career. I can't give. If I'm not healthy, I can't give. If I don't do things for myself and I feel sad all the time, or I feel depressed, or I hate that I'm not getting myself the self care I need, I'm not the best version of myself. And at the end of the day, whether you have kids or husband, wives, friends, family, they're, especially little children, they're looking at you as an example. They follow the lead. Self care is important. If you like getting your nails done, get your nails done. You like getting your hair done, get your hair done. For a long time, I went with like, oh, I don't care if I'm looking crazy. As long as my kids look good, I'm good. No, I'm just getting back into self care, like wanting to get my hair done and my nails done, my toes done, and like skincare. Like that is important. Just because you're a parent, a mom or a dad, you can't feel good about yourself. Just because you have this or that going on, you can't be happy. Why can't there be that even balance? So, in order for me to be able to pour into my career, my children positively and fill them, I've got to fill my cup. You cannot pour from a empty glass. It's impossible. Go try it. Go get a cup from your cabinet, fill it with air. What's going to come out? Nothing. So stop having the mindset that you're selfish, that you're a bad mom, or you're a bad dad, or you're a bad person for wanting to make yourself feel good, for wanting to make yourself look good, for wanting to do the things that you did before. Of course, your life changes in a sense forever when you have a kid. And essentially, it'll probably never go back to normal because you now have a human or little humans with you. But it's hard, especially I feel like as a parent, as a mother, getting back to your normal self. Because where is that common balance? Because you're going to always have that one person that says, oh, you're a mom. You're going out, you're hanging out, even though it's your first time hanging out in 2 years. You're going to order that person that's like, oh, they don't understand because they don't have kids or a kid. So they don't have that responsibility hanging on to them. So they don't understand that you can't just up and just do whatever. You have to have planning really going into anything. Even if you're in a two-parent household, planning has to go into everything when you have a kid. So take that time out, get your hair done, get your nails done, man, get those haircuts. And the thing is, I know most of my videos typically would reach a woman versus a man. And yes, most of what we talk about can go for anyone. But the way I have my process laid out, it will probably catch the eye of a woman first. And initially, when it came to me starting a YouTube channel, I really didn't know the realm I wanted to take. I was vlogging, this and that, and I do a little bit of everything, but this is what I love, empowering people, especially women, because I was a person who was solo at one point. We always feel like it's only us. And just to let you know, like, you're not alone. There can be mental changes, there can be shifts. You can be one person today and tomorrow be that whole new person. You don't have to stick with one thing. You don't have to be just one thing. You don't have to be the image that anyone else wants you to be but yourself. And I think it's easy for us to forget that because we're trying to uphold so much. And we tend to be people that care so much on what someone else thinks. Cut it out. But I literally love sitting down, chatting with you guys. When I see your comments, when I see your encouragement, when I see that you're like, oh, you made my day. I needed to hear this, or this is amazing. Like, I love it. Like, that makes my day. It makes me know that what I'm doing is meant for me. And I'm so excited to see my platform grow with you all. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I didn't want to make this video too long, but these are just the couple shifts that I had in my life that I want to share with you that I feel like made a big difference. When I started doing these things and my mind shifted in the positive way with these, I'm telling you, like, me and my boyfriend talk about it all the time. Like, it's amazing within less than a year, about 8, 9 months, the changes I've had in my life in every way, shape, or form, the small, the big. That's another thing. Do not forget to applaud the small victories. They're just as important because they lead up to the big. So, clicking on this video is a small victory because you're in the direction to learn these 10 mind shifts. And if you utilize even just a couple of them, I would love to hear how it affects you, how it changed you, how it helped you. If you have any ideas or any shifts that you can share with me, do that. But without further ado, I don't want to ramble on too much. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. My honey bunches, I love you all. Bye.